Hey, Metal Maniacs, this is Frankie from Chemicide from San Jose, Costa Rica, and you're thrashing it up on Dave Softee's Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio.
Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from beautiful Costa Rica, from killer thrash metal band Chemicide, here to talk about the band's upcoming release, Common Sense, due out March 15th, 2022, through RipRide Records and distributed by MVD. Joining us, we have vocalist and guitarist Frankie.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate the spot, man. It's an honor for me to be here.
Nice to meet you for the first time and to have this opportunity to talk to you. And welcome to the Metal Meltdown. Let me just mention the rest of the band. You have Sebastian on lead guitar, Jorge on bass guitar, and Luis Fair on drums. And I tell you, I've been listening to Common Sense and I'm blown away. It's definitely going to be on many people's top lists of thrash for 2022. I can see that already.
Oh man, I appreciate it. This is a completely different record, man, to what we've done before. So, I really appreciate that. You listened to it and that you liked it. But this pandemic has treated everybody differently, right? And I think we took it in the positive side of things. So we try to write the record. We wrote the record, thinking of how people might have felt, during this time. So I'm happy that is getting good attention from people and good reviews, to be honest.
What you're saying makes perfect sense, because during these times with the COVID pandemic, bands have the ability to spend more time on their music and make it the best they've ever done. But that's the plus side, if you could say plus side. But the downside is about doing performances. So I can see how this is a very aggressive album, and I love aggression. So I've become a quick fan of the first time I heard it. And I think I'll be playing a lot of it for many years to come. This is an outstanding offering you have here.
Oh man, I really appreciate it. But yeah, man, as you're saying, like, we had when this thing first hit, like the whole pandemic thing situation, we were touring our previous record, and we just came back. We just came back from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. We were doing like a 2 to 3 week tour out there, and when we came back home, we're actually playing this festival here in Costa Rica, about 10, 12 bands, and it was a hell of a festival. We're actually getting ready to leave. We were buying tickets for Mexico and another part of South America that we was going. So we were going either Colombia, and then we were going up north to Mexico. And when the thing hit, we had this, we had a hard stop. So we spent a whole year without playing. I spent a whole year without seeing my buddies, man. We lived very close to each other. And, that's a downside of it. But, I guess as you were saying, the positive side of it is that we had more time to spend, writing music and, look into what we could do differently with our music.
Definitely a really aggressive offering. And you just mentioned Canada, and I noticed RipRide Records is based in Canada. What led you to join up with them, and also MVD for distribution? How'd that all work out for you?
So the thing is that when we first released our first record back in it was 2015, we put it out via Bandcamp, right? Bandcamp is I personally love Bandcamp. I guess it's the best site for artists. And when we put it out, when we released the record, Remy, he had previously, he had a label called PRC Music, which was well established in the music industry in Canada. They were pretty, I guess they were pretty big. They had really good bands with the label, and he reached out to us. He sent us an email regarding our record. He wanted to release our first album like that, and that pretty much started our relationship. Our working relationship, and we released 3 records under his label, under PRC Music. So when COVID hit, he spoke to us, because the things that underground record labels, they got hit hard, man. I mean, it's not the same as I guess the big labels that they have their big machinery and like their vinyls and CDs and everything out there, right? So Remy took a pretty hard hit, and he also was a little tired, man. He was releasing, like, I don't know, 10, 15 records a month, So he spoke to us, and he told us that I think he was taking a little break. If not, he was just closing for good. So, which was a pretty hard hit for us as well, because I've personally never searched for labels before, and this is going to be the first time since we started the band that we didn't have a record label to work with or to put our music out. And he's like, yeah, man, you guys gotta find a different way to put your music out. And and the good thing is that since we've been playing for quite some time already, we had good connections all around the place, and we started working with somebody else in Mexico, some friends of ours, and I told Remy, Remy is like, he's like a father to us, man. And, we met him back in the first time in 2018, and he's an awesome person, man. He's really friendly. He's always looking out for the band. When we were there, he gave us his own card, man, to tour. And I told him, like, yo, when we finish the record, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna just send it to you so you can listen to it and see what you think, And when I sent it to him, he was like, dude, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I really like the record. I need to come back and release it. I was like, well, I told him, it's up to you, man. I mean, like, if you want to do it, you do it. I mean, if you can't, it's fine. We will find another way. That's fine. Did that, man. He he came back. He put RipRide together, and here we are, man. He's putting out the record. You know, he's doing an initial price. I think it's above 500 albums at once. Yeah, man. He's actually putting a record of some friends of ours from Costa Rica as well. So it's pretty awesome.
That is great. That's a great story. I want to talk a little bit about your history. I noticed that the band formed in 2008, but started as Conqueror. I'm curious to know what led to the band change to Chemicide. Chemicide, I think, is a very thrashy name, and Conqueror, not a bad name either. But what led to that change?
So the thing is that there was another band that we didn't know about. The thing is that back in 2008, we were really young. I was turning 18 at the time, and I was just I was just starting to pick up my guitar, man. We really didn't know how to play, so we thought that Conqueror was a badass name, right? Those names make a name in the scene or whatever. And the thing is that we realized there was another black metal band in Canada called Conqueror. They already put a release out, and so we.
It happens, all these brand names that sometimes you have like 10 of the same band name. What could you do?
Right. So the thing is that we put out our first EP or first demo, whatever you want to call it. It was called In the Depth of Darkness, and recorded at home. And when we released it, I don't know how, but it got went up to Canada, and all of a sudden we got an email from some people, man, saying that there was already a record out under the band Conquer. So we kind of got a cease and desist letter from somebody to stop using the name. I was like, all right, no, I mean, there's no sweat. I mean, we were already transitioning from one drummer to another, and I was writing different songs for the band, so it kind of gave us a clean slate, right? So it was like a fresh start for us to get a new name and write different music. So we were working with a friend of ours, Jerry, at the time, recording our first EP as Chemicide. We didn't know the name at the time. He suggested, like, yo, why you guys got to change the name to something that sounds more aggressive. So, we went home, the bass player and I, Jorge and I, we went home, and we started thinking about names. We started writing down. We had a notepad with all this bunch of names, man, written down, and we were starting to, like, pretty much put two words together. So, for example, we had, biotoxin, so we was like, all right, bioxin, or, whatever, back in the day, you wanted to sound like, municipal waste, right? Everything's
exactly,
toxic and everything is like chemical, right?
I got you, yeah.
And I thought about this thing called like chemical genocide, and we put it together, and we was like, oh, we can use Chemicide.
It worked.
And it worked, man. Everybody liked it, and the good thing is that nobody else has the name Chemicide in the world, so
you lucked out.
It worked pretty well for us, and now it's a well-established name, so nobody has it, so it's a good thing for us.
Excuse the pun, but it's common sense now, right?
Yeah, now it's common sense. Now, I mean, it's now everybody uses, Chemicide, and thing is the only downside of it is that, we found out later on, like back in 2015 that somebody in China or Japan, they created a termite venom or poison that's called Chemicide as well. So
that's like an anthrax story almost, right?
It's pretty much, man. Pretty much, yeah. So I mean, I don't care, but now the name is kind of stuck and everybody likes it, so we're good.
I definitely guarantee the Thrashers enjoy the name. It makes a lot of sense. I also want to mention your 3 previous releases. That is Episodes of Insanity in 2015, The Act of Retaliation in 2017, and your previous release, Inequality. And like you said, every offering sounds different, but this one, it has to be your strongest so far. Common Sense, totally impressive.
Yeah, so the first 3 records, the first one we wrote when we was like 18, 17 years old. I mean, we was writing that in high school. I mean, I was writing lyrics in high school and whatnot. So you can feel that I guess the youth. You know what I mean? You can feel the immaturity when writing songs and whatnot. I mean, I had kind of a decent knowledge of what I wanted to do, but at the same time, it's not the same. You know what I mean? The whole what do you call this thing? Like the whole, I guess, purpose of the band wasn't still well established, right? And then when we started working on the Act of Retaliation and Inequality, I mean, those 2 records sound a lot different. We, when we wrote at the Act of Retaliation, we was thinking more of a Havoc kind of style and
Right.
sound.
Right.
Because, if you hear the bass guitar, we wanted to emulate what Havoc was doing at the time with their Time Is Up record and Unnatural Selection. That type of crispy, I don't know, high treble sound in their bass guitar, and we wanted to do like something really fast. We kind of accomplished that, but the record sold pretty well as well. It sold like 2,000 copies of it, and when we moved on to Inequality, I knew already what I wanted to do with the band. I knew the type of lyrics I wanted to write, and I knew the sound that we wanted to bring to the record. We had changed drummers for like, I don't know, for the fourth time already, or fifth time, I don't remember. And I don't know, man. I mean, I had a pretty clear idea what I wanted to do, like as far as the cover and whatnot, and we worked on it, and it sold like it hasn't stopped selling, which is it's incredible. It sold in like around 4,000-5,000 copies already. For an underground band, it's just, I know it's not staggering numbers for like Metallica or bands like that, but for us, like we're in Costa Rica, we're an underground band. It was a lot of copies, and
yeah,
we moved on. And when the whole thing, we went on tour and we met a lot of people. And when you're on tour, you kind of see different things about bands, right? You see how they play and their style and how they bring people together and whatnot. So when I came home, I was listening to a lot of punk, right? I was listening to a lot of hardcore punk, Bat Brains, Cro-Mags. I was listening to Leeway. I was listening to what else? Sick of It All, Negative Approach, Poison Idea. All these bands, man, that I like. And I was like, dude, I gotta try to write something more in that line, like that I can bring more people together, not just thrashers. And we started working with we went back to the studio that we recorded our previous albums, but we mixed it and did the mastering with somebody else. We worked with Martin Furia. He's the lead guitarist of the thrash metal band Destruction, and he gave us a complete new sound, man. The sound of the record, is very old school. We were thinking about bringing like the Overkill sound and Horoscope, and kind of mixing it up with the KSAD of Sepultura. That was what that's kind of my intention of it. And of course, Among the Living from Anthrax, and he did, man. He was able to bring it over. So I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned up.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Now, you were talking about the problems you have with drummers. Now, in my experience, especially with bands from Spain, they seem to have issues with holding on to drummers because of a special tax they have in Spain, which I've never heard of before. But from talking to these bands from Spain, especially thrash metal bands, there's like a luxury tax for these drummers. Do you have the same problem there in Costa Rica? What is the issue with you maintaining drummers?
Nah, man. So the thing is that for us, it's not like that at all. I mean, for us, the problem is that when we've had so far, I think, let me check, about 5 drummers so far. We started really young, man. So when we first started, we didn't play as, and I don't want to say that we play well right now, but we were pretty bad at the time. So when we started, getting better, our drummer didn't really,
You didn't have what it takes?
He didn't get better with us, with the rest of the band, right? So
I got you.
We had to get rid of him, and then when we had our second drummer, which is one of the best drummers we've played so far, it just didn't, really fit into the band. He wanted to do something else. He was more into the extreme metal scene, I guess. So he was getting really bored of playing, I guess, thrash metal, because it wasn't as technical or I guess complex as the things that he used to play. So we parted ways. And then with our third drummer, he was really young as well, and we were still in college, and he had to his family had him choose either the band or college, and he had to go to college, man. And then our fourth is, he had some personal issues. He had to leave the band after we recorded our second album, and with our last drummer, we had some issues with him, with the band. I mean, amongst each other, so we had to let him go. So it's not what do you call this thing? It's not like a tax or something like that special. It's just that I think that you gotta build chemistry within the band and have that good relationship, man. You gotta make sure that everybody's into the band and what we like and having and want to grow with a band. You know what I mean? So.
Right, and life happens, and sometimes you have no control over the situation. I totally understand, but I was very curious about that from hearing you talk about it. And as I mentioned, the sound of your band to me is very impressive, really strong thrash metal. I'm really happy with this Common Sense offering. I need to know how your tunes all come to fruition as far as the writing process. How do you create your music? Who is responsible for writing the music and the lyrics? Do you do most of this yourself, or is it the whole entire band getting in on this?
So I write all the music and all the lyrics for the band. Though I usually start working on them at home. Usually, I work on my music when I'm. For some reason, when I'm at work, I have my best ideas come up. So yeah, man. I mean, with this particular record, when we were, I started working on it probably around March or April, no, around I think January 2020, right before the pandemic. And dude, I was in I guess in a state of mind that wasn't pretty well. I was at a work or at a job that I really didn't really enjoy. So I had a lot of time, to think about the music that I wanted to do. And since we just came back from touring, I was a little depressed that I wasn't back on the road, to be honest. So I wrote the lyrics and thinking about I was reading a lot of books at the time. I read Brave New World. I was reading a lot of books that I like, and I thought about how society was moving towards and a lack of empathy and and the lack of connection between people. Right now, it's all digital and and not really. People just, I guess, absorb what they see on their screens, right? They absorb what they see in their cell phones and their computers, and they just stuck to it, man. So
it's true, very true.
It's weird, man. We're living in a weird time where people just they walk past each other, and if somebody's on the street line, they just don't help them out. They just take pictures or videos of them, and it's weird. It's a weird time of being alive, man. So. Then the pandemic hit, and we was at home for a whole fucking year, right? So I wrote the record thinking of that and about how was I feeling at the time, my dealing with depression and whatnot, and I think that the record came out pretty solid, man. So
absolutely.
When we were first starting to go back to rehearsals, the good thing of now, the only positive thing I guess of this of being at home and having your technological advantage to it is that you can write your songs on the computer and pass it on to your bandmates, right? So I was writing the songs here, on my software, whatever you want to call it, and I sent it to them, and they're like, all right, dude, I we love them. Let's just try to go and get some practice. So when rehearsal spaces opened up, we started practicing the songs, and I already had written like 6 or 7 songs at a time, so we just tweaked them out a little bit. Because one thing is writing the songs at home on your own, and another thing is practicing the songs and listening to the drums live with the solos and with the whole bass, the bass line. So I tweaked them out a little. I came back home. I worked on them again until what I wanted to do, and we brought the new drummer in. He was like. He's pretty cool. He's really down to earth, and he has a really good chemistry with the band. So, we were able to nail it down, to be honest.
Everything sounds like it has gelled perfectly. And let's spend more time about the making of Common Sense. As far as what studio was this recorded in, and who you mentioned a little bit earlier about the production, the mixing, and the mastering. Let's talk a little bit about that, and also the look of the album. When I first saw it, I thought of The Who's Tommy. Remember that movie?
Yeah, yeah, I
That
remember
kind of
that.
look, but without the cork, but with the eyes like that. So that just like as soon as I saw that, I like, whoa, that reminds me of that. Someone in the chat room said it reminded them of Weird Al Yankovic, that it looked like this movie UHF. And I
Yeah, I
saw that. I
remember that.
says, yeah, I could see that too.
It did.
Well, yeah. So it kind of, you could see how there's a similarity. Not that it's exactly the same, but with the eyes, the way it looks like that. So I'm curious about who designed that. And of course, your band logo. And I've noticed on Facebook a 3D version of the album as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, so the way that it worked is that we've worked with the sound engineer. His name is Juan Pablo Calvo. He's from Costa Rica. He lives really close to us. We worked with him on our two previous records, and they, and also on our latest, our 2020 single called "Uncertain Future." He has a pretty good knowledge of what the band wants to make, so he's been, I guess, an intrinsic part to the band as far as the sound goes and how we've evolved from being a garage band to what we are so far. Is not that we're saying that we're a consolidated band or anything like that, because it's not like that. But we've kind of evolved as far as sounds goes. And we decided to go back to him and work with him on this record as well, because the single that we released on 2020, caught up a lot of attention from a lot of people, and they were really into it. So we went back to him, and we recorded at this. We recorded at two studios, to be honest. So the first one, we recorded the drums at Apex Studios. Well, he was a sound engineer, and we had also our drum tech at the time. His name is Alberto Terán. We made sure that the drums sounded, really heavy. Both of them made a solid work as far as tuning it down and sounding and make it sound like, that sloppy sound that, it's like, really, really, really fat, but never not losing the tune, to put it that way. And then once we recorded the drums in 6.5 hours in one single day. We worked on Sunday 10th of October. Yeah, Sunday October 10th. Yeah. Our drummer, sat down for 6.5 hours straight, and he nailed it, man. He nailed all the songs. I mean, it was a really, really tiring process at the end, because, right around the 6th hour, he was like, yeah, I think I have to come back tomorrow. But he only had one song left, so he pulled through and he recorded it. Then we moved back to Juan Pablo's studio. He works in a studio here in Costa Rica called Lucuma. We recorded bass guitars, vocals, and guitars there. So it was our time now for recording. I recorded all the rhythm guitars of the record. It took me like 9 hours to do it in one day. Then it was time for our lead guitars. He took like around 4 or 5 hours to do all the solos and whatnot. And then our bass player took around 4 hours to do his part. And then it was my time to record vocals, and that took about 6 hours. So all that process took about a month or so. So we finished the record. We started the record back in October 10th, and he edited the drums and whatnot, and made sure that everything was tight. And we started recording guitars right around the last week of October, and we finished mid-November. So it was a really fast process to record. We try to do it really fast every time that we record, because we don't want to lose momentum. And we had the chance that another friend of ours, which we're also releasing the record out with. Their name is Concreto Records in Mexico. They're doing Latin America for us. He had suggested for us to work with Martin. Martin is he had worked previously with a band of some friends of ours called Introtil. They're a Mexican powerhouse, man. It's 4 girls, just doing badass deicide type, death metal, right? And he reached out to us. Martin reached out to us, and we started talking about what we wanted to do with the record. And he he understood what we wanted. I didn't have to talk much to him. He's from Argentina. He has his own band called Bark, and now he's playing with Destruction. He's a lead guitarist, and he was a sound the tour manager for Destruction and Flotsam and Jetsam and Crypta and Nervosa in Europe, and also one of the sound engineers when they're playing live. So he understood what we wanted to do. He knew what we wanted to do as a band as far as sound goes, and we sent him the album, and he caught it, right in the first mix, man. We didn't really make a lot of adjustments to it. He was like, this is the sound that I thought that would work better with the band. We did a little, some tweaks here and there, but, he got it, man. He got it right from the start. And we had the record, man. We've been sitting on the record since, I guess, maybe mid-December, something like that. And,
oh, wow.
yeah, and the thing is, with the cover, man, it was even longer than that, because we had the cover, the artwork done back in, I guess, like September of 2020. So the thing is, this is the thing, man. We our lead guitarist, he went to school for he's a graphic designer.
Okay.
And so one of his friends from college, he's a badass 3D artist, and he's like, dude, we should try to do something different with this record. We have already done, like, kind of comic book covers for our past records. We should try to move on to something a little bit more 3D, more realistic. We're just like, yeah, of course, let's do it.
Great idea.
And he's like, I have several options, that I wanted to reach out to. Just, he's like, reach out to them and see, let's see what happens. So he gave me the names. I reached out to all of them, and then this guy Pablo, who's his friend, he answered. He's like, yeah, let's get some time, let's meet, and let's figure it out when we can work together, right? So we met back in August 2020, man. He's like, guys, I don't know when you guys want to release the record, but I have like a 7 to 8 month wait time to start working on projects. And I was like, okay. So we had a pretty, fair amount of time to pay him, whatnot, and since we were releasing the record, either late 2021 or early 2022, we was like, we have plenty of time. So the thing is that in around November or something like that, he contacted us. He's like, dude, actually, I have a spot that opened up. If you want to take it right now, I can start working on your cover. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we gave him this concept of, as you say, people are stuck to their computers, people are stuck to their cell phones. They just wanna consume or absorb everything that's fed to them via the internet or via the TV or whatever, right? So common sense to us makes no, it doesn't really exist. When you talk about common sense, it's different for everybody, right? It might be different for you, or it might be different for me, because every head is a different world, right? Everything that happens in your head is just different to my perspective. So that's what we wanted to bring with the name, with the cover, and I think he kind of captured everything that we wanted into the album cover, and we put it out, and he gave it to us, and we reached out to this friend of ours also back with our third record. His name is David, and he did the new logo for us, which kind of is a little bit more. It's easier to read, and it goes more with what we're doing right now with the band. So, yeah,
it's a perfect combination. Yeah, outstanding.
It's been a good process.
I appreciate that story of telling us all about this, and I guess you could say common sense is a double-edged sword. It's a parody of words, because you're saying it's the opposite of what common sense is supposed to be.
Exactly. That's the thing, man. I mean, I don't know, man. If people might say this, it's common sense is not to kill somebody, right? For us, for me, it's common sense not to kill anybody. But for murderers, it's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's what they think is common. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad. Some people don't have common sense. That's just a fact.
It is what it is.
But let's hope after this interview, everybody has common sense. Right. So I noticed you have a show coming up March 16th. I don't know if this is a CD release show, but it looks like it's a festival, and it's going to be in Nicaragua. And I'm interested to know about what it looks like as far as, has COVID affected your plans as far as supporting the new album? Do you have any things lining up for you, or what is actually the update about being able to finally perform out there?
So the thing is this, man. COVID has affected us badly as far as live shows go. We've only played since last year. We've played 2 shows, to be honest, and it's been 2 festivals. And the thing is that people have been sitting down. We have to play what do you call this? Before a plastic screen, and then everybody's sitting in front of us, but they're just sitting down. They can't really mosh or whatever. So it's, I mean, it's fun to play live, but not really fun to play live like that, right? So we haven't played that many shows, but our government has opened up a little as far as restrictions go. So most of the people have the shot now, and things are starting to slowly open up again. Actually, our first show this year is with DRI in March 12th. Is actually here in Costa Rica, and then on the 26th of March, so we're heading up to Nicaragua with some friends of ours from El Salvador and Cuba, and we're doing a little fest out there. And yeah, man, I mean, we wanted to go to Europe, we wanted to go back to Canada and play some shows out there as well. Canada's all closed. We've talked to our friends there, and they've mentioned to us that most of the venues are closed and nothing is opening up. We wanted to go to Europe, but it's pretty much the same story. Everything is being closed out, and the only place that are open, I think, is Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken. And but we don't really have a lot of people that we know there that they can have us for a few shows. So we're trying to actually tour Latin America this time around. So most likely heading to Colombia in May, like around 3 shows there, and then we're heading out to Mexico to do 4 shows there, and 2 to 3 shows in small venues, and we're doing a festival for about 500 people in this place called San Luis Potosí. And then hopefully we can come back on this side and do more shows back south, or head out to Europe. But I don't know if that's a possibility. We're hoping that our record brings more people interested in, and we can tour.
Well, hopefully this COVID thing will be going away, especially during the warmer months. So hopefully in the late spring and summertime, you'll have more possibilities to do shows. Let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, man, that's what we're hoping for, because touring when there's winter time, it sucks. Picking up your gear and putting your jacket on and bringing the gear into the venues. It's not a whole lot of fun, to be honest. But hey,
and also a lot of bands. Right, a lot of bands out there that are actually performing, they can't perform to more than 50 to a show, which is really, it sucks as far as, it's great to be out there and perform, but when you're used to doing, let's say, 2,000 fans and you have 50 fans, maybe it's not as much fun. Maybe it is, but maybe not,
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy small shows, like small venues. I really enjoy them because you have everybody well together, stuck together. But the thing is that you can't do those small venues anymore. That's the problem. Like you can't really have people moshing into each other and like really being close to you anymore. They have to be separated and have all this restrictions. So it's different now. It's just to put it that way.
It is. That's a downside of COVID. The upside is you have a great album, but the downside is that you cannot perform it like you want to.
Yeah.
So, but you have other ways you could do it through live streaming and through videos if you could have the ability to make that. But we'll get to that a little bit. What I want to do is inform the fans of Chemicide on how they could support the band by getting merch. I have a bunch of websites, of course, from RipRide and of Chemicide. You mentioned Bandcamp. I would think that would probably be one of the best ways. That's chemicide.bandcamp.com, and probably RipRiderRecords.com. Also on Facebook, RipRiderRecords.com, but Chemicide as well on the Facebook. What would you say would be the best place for them to either get digital format downloads or actually the physical copy of the CD? And if you have vinyl, if you're planning on making vinyl, and what other merch you may have available for your fans if you don't have anything set yet, if it's something in process. We'd like to inform the listeners on how they can support Chemicide.
Yeah, man, that's actually a good question. So we usually, our Bandcamp site moves really, really well, to be honest. We have a lot of followers there, and people really enjoy using the site because Bandcamp is really easy to use, to be honest. Everything's well put out, and you can either find our music or either digital or physical formats, like either CD or cassettes. Vinyl, unfortunately, we're not doing right now because vinyl is too expensive, and we don't have labels that's interested in getting vinyl out, to be honest, right now.
It
RipRide
happens.
was really kind enough, and all the labels that were working with us to release the record via CD, and I think RipRide might be working on cassettes in the future. But for vinyl, it's really expensive, man. I mean, that's the reason why either European labels or really big labels do it, because it really takes a toll on underground labels. So I would love to have vinyl, but it doesn't really break my heart, put it that way.
Yeah. If it's not profitable, it's not worth doing it for you.
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly, I'm not in the business, to put it that way, to have somebody spend a lot of money and then not getting their money back. I mean, I know probably that it's gonna sell, but I don't want to put somebody in a uncomfortable situation. So I'd rather just whatever they feel comfortable with. If they want to do CDs or they want to do cassettes, whatever they want to do, and they know that it's gonna sell, go for it, man. But Bandcamp is the way to go. I think that for getting our merch, they can find hoodies and t-shirts and all that there. If not, via Instagram, or Facebook. I mean, I think Instagram is moving really, really fast now with young people, and
that's good to know.
I think that Instagram is one of the easiest ways to get a hold of the band and just follow us. I mean, everywhere you go. We're the only Chemicide, pretty much. So when you type Chemicide on Facebook, you're going to find us. When you type Chemicide on Instagram, you find us. Or if you type Chemicide on Spotify, get us. So if you want it, I mean, I don't really like Spotify, but if you want to stream the songs, you go to Spotify and just put it in and listen to us there. I mean, there's no problem. But if you want to really buy the records and get our merch and whatnot, you go to Bandcamp or either Instagram, and you reach out to us, and we'll make it happen for you.
Thank you, Frankie, for letting us know the right place to go. I appreciate that. And as I was just talking about, being that, we can't really do the performances that you want to do, we have YouTube as I guess you could say a backup. And I went to Chemicide on YouTube, and I saw the 4-part Making of Common Sense, and that was really cool. And I also saw I think it was done by Record Union, the MP3 video for your first single, False Democracy. But I'm curious, I haven't seen any official lyrical or musical videos for the promotion of Common Sense. Is that something that you're planning on doing, or is there something already out there that I have yet to see?
No, so the thing is, we wanted to. So the thing is that tomorrow is actually election day here in Costa Rica. So we wanted to make sure that our first single was False Democracy, because it's something that we see happening here a lot, and all across America, all across the continent. You have this idea that you really have the power to choose people, but really it's the options of those people that you're putting in power, how are they being made for you. So you're really actually just selecting somebody that was already a pre-made decision, right? So
yeah, I feel you. I totally relate to what you're saying. Look at our choices, like you said. Yeah, oh my God, we have no choice. It's stupid is or stupid does, really.
Exactly. So you really, you think that you're. I mean, and it's. I mean, as a citizen of each country, you have the responsibility to go out and vote, because there's a lot of countries out right now in the world that don't have that option, which is crazy to me. That thinking of 2022, still living in places where you cannot choose who who's going to run your country. But at the same time, that is a false sense of I guess of options, right? Because this people that are running for power in our countries are really have been really selected for us. It's not like we're choosing who is gonna go rise up to power. It's just people with a lot of money that are running campaigns for some people that they feel that they can control better. So we go out and vote for them, right? So we wanted to make sure that that was well represented in our song. So that's the reason why we put out False Democracy first. And since we're having an election day here in Costa Rica tomorrow, we felt that it was a great option, right? So that came out last Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And incidentally, we were working on our first video clip for this record. So we were working on doing a video clip for one of the songs in the record called Barred Existence. And we're going to put it out March 1st. So the way that it's working right now, one of our friends, his name is Robert, he has been working on all of our audio visual stuff for the past I don't know, for the past year. So we're putting out, as you said, the making of Common Sense on our YouTube channel, so people can have, I guess, a better understanding how it works to be in the studio, how it is to spend a live with us or a day with us, working, recording songs and whatnot. So, we're doing that every week. So every week you're going to see, on every Thursday, you're going to see another part of our videos coming out. And on March 1st, we're hoping to release our first video of this record via YouTube, via our YouTube channel. So to give it more promotion, because we're releasing the record on March 15th, on all platforms and all formats pretty much.
That's great news. I'm looking forward to seeing those videos. And yeah, I thank you for taking the time to explain all that to us. And hopefully we could see more of these videos, because I think that will keep your fans interested, because they got to get the CD first of all, but they want to see you performing as well, or see a video. And I think it's a win-win situation when you can have those videos. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing more of these making of Common Sense parts, as well as coming up with more music videos in the future. That's great. I really appreciate that. And Frankie, are you a gearhead? Do you like to talk about your gear? Because if you do, feel free to talk about it. Feel free to say anything you want about it. If you're not, I respect that as well. Whatever you feel like doing.
Sure, man. I mean, to be honest, with everybody, I'm not that well versed in as far as gear talking goes, but I do know what I use, man. So the thing is, a very cool thing that happened to us last year was that Lace Pickups, electric guitar pickup company based out of California, they actually started working with us, and they're now sponsoring the whole band with their pickups.
Excellent,
so,
great news.
It's a funny thing because our buddies from Power Trip, they're also Chris and Chris and Blake, if I'm not mistaken, they're also sponsored by Lay's. So we got the same set that they have, which is funny, man. So we're using our drop and gain pickups for me at least. Our lead guitarist is using Max Cavalera's Down Destroyer pickups for his guitar, and our bass guitarist is using the Luma Tone, if I'm not mistaken, for his bass guitar. We are very lucky to be sponsored also by a local instrument shop called FKS Instruments. It's a friend of ours that he started his own company of instruments, and they're made with local wood. So we've been very fortunate to for him to work with us. And my guitar is a custom Flying V made with blood splatter as paintwork, and it's been really cool, man. I call it the Frankie Stein because it was tailored for me, and our bass guitarist he had his own bass guitar done for him as well. So we've been very fortunate, man. I mean, as far as gear goes, I use my guitar. My pickups are drop and gain from Lace. And as far as pedals go, I use a Friedman amp, BEOD, and I use a Laney GR100R as a tube amp, 100 watts. That's what I used to play. We try to keep it, really old school with our tone. So a lot of treble, very low mids, and a lot of bass when it comes to the equalization of it. So that's all I know, man. I'm sorry.
That's all. That's great. That's great. You don't have to be all technical about it. Just telling us what you played is great enough. But Frankie, I have to tell you, I feel like we've never talked before, but I feel very comfortable talking to you. Like if I've talked to a long lost friend or someone that I've known for many years, and we've never talked before. So, were you born in New York? Were you born in Costa Rica? You sound like you're from New York. Like I'm talking to someone from New York. That's my point.
So I was actually born here in Costa Rica, and then I moved out to the U.S. My parents, they were traveling a lot for work. So we first moved to California, where my mother's family lives, and I think it's Pasadena, if I'm not mistaken. Then we moved out to New York. I grew up mostly in Brooklyn, so that's where you hear the accent. So
It's
Yeah, I
great.
lived there for about 10 years, and then we decided to move. Well, my dad decided to move back to Costa Rica. Well, we first were traveling because of work, but he decided to stay out here in Costa Rica, and that's where I've been so far with my family and whatnot.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to explain that. I'm really happy that we're able to do this. And I've never been to Costa Rica, but I've heard beautiful stories that it's a beautiful country. I've never been there before, but is it as beautiful as I hear?
Yeah, man. Costa Rica is a place that you would love, man. It's just a different type of living, man. To be honest, as right now, for example, I know that the U.S. is getting hit pretty badly with winter. So here in Costa Rica it's like 80 degrees right now, man.
Man.
Yeah, summertime here is it's a different story, man. Like it starts right around November, and it really stops around like June or something. So you get clear skies, really sunny days. It's beautiful, man. And I mean, I guess you would say the bad part of it is that we only get 2 seasons. So we get either summer or rainy season, and the rainy season is it rains hard, man. It really rains. So
Wow.
you wake up and it's raining, you go to bed and it's raining. So I mean, but that lasts. I mean, that bad is only like 2 months, but during the rest of the year, it rains a lot. But yeah, man, I mean, people are really friendly here. They always go out and try to help you out with whatever you need, man. So that's a good thing. Actually, all across Latin America is the same way. People go out on a limb and just try to make you feel comfortable wherever you are, man. So it's pretty cool. You should, and I anybody that wants to come out here in Costa Rica, just come out, have a good time. It's a very small country, so when you land in Costa Rica, you usually land in Alajuela, which is one of our provinces, and you can go out to the beach in no more than 2 hours. You'll be at the beach. So
Nice.
I mean, it's really cool, man. And everybody that comes out here and wants to meet me or want to meet one of the guys from the band, just let us know through our Instagram page. We'll take you out for sure.
That sounds like a great opportunity for especially East Coast, New Yorkers as a vacation spot for the wintertime.
Yeah.
To have a summer that.
Dude,
yeah.
You gotta, especially for January and February that gets the coldest, man. You gotta come out here, man, and have a good time for sure.
We gotta look forward to that. And Frankie, what do you do for your livelihood as far as making money? What do you do when you're not doing Chemicide?
I wish that I was, that I could tell you that I'm only working for Chemicide and that's my day to day, but it's not. So,
we're in the underground. That can't be true,
Yeah, I hope that. I mean, I really wish that it was, but like back in the old days, like you see Anthrax, Metallica, all these bands, living off of what they're making on the road. But unfortunately, it's not like that in 2022. I work for Amazon, believe it or not, man. I started working for Amazon like maybe 6 months ago. I work for the IT industry. That's what I studied pretty much. So that's what I do for a living. It's not very glamorous or fun, but it pays the bills, man.
That's what counts, and you got to hustle on that. So yeah, I appreciate you letting us know about that. And is there anything that you'd like to say to the Chemicide fans that are tuning in right now?
Yeah, man. Honestly, Chemicide, as most of you guys know already, it's a really aggressive, fast, I guess you could call it violent, band as far as like music goes. But like, really, really, we just want you guys to read the lyrics of what we're doing and try to be better, right? Because the thing is that we live in a time that, as we said before, people lack empathy, people lack social, real connections, man, with each other. So it doesn't really hurt to be better, to help those people around you and try to make try to make a bad situation to the good situation. I often say this to my kid, but we are really privileged to have the things that we have, and live in the situation that we're living in. And so if we can make it better for somebody else and try to improve their situation, it's always a positive thing. So we have, I guess, an obligation with each other to make better where we live in, right? So that's the only thing that I wanted to to say to people, I guess.
That's very important what you said there, and I wish everybody else in the world felt the same way. We'd have a better world.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not. I'm not trying to sound like rude or or
no. You sound like you care,
whatever, right? But it's just that you see people out in the street, or not having something to eat or whatever, and you know that you can improve their situation, but helping them out a little. It doesn't mean that you have to give them money or whatever, but there's little gestures you can do for people that can definitely change their situation for real. So that's the only thing we wanted to message with the band, pretty much.
We appreciate that, and I want to thank you for spending time with us tonight on the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio, Frankie. Gotta tell you, the Common Sense offering is an in-your-face offering. I'm loving it, and like I said, everyone I'm speaking to is telling me this is going to make the top list by the end of next year or the end of this year. People are going to be having Chemicide's Common Sense on their top list. It's that strong, that aggressive, and it's definitely in your face. Before we go, I want to make sure if there's anything else that you'd like to mention out there to talk about Chemicide, Common Sense, or anything that you like. Is there anything else that we have yet to talk about that you want to bring out there?
Well, not really. I mean, I really appreciate the interview, man. It's really fun to do these things, and as you said before, it's like this conversation that we had is like it's like two buddies at a bar, man. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's how I feel right now. So I don't know, man. I mean, if somebody, I guess that the only thing I would say, and this is more of a promotion kind of thing, but if somebody out in the U.S. wants to bring us out and play some shows, man, it would be awesome. I gotta mention a couple bands that I really love from the East Coast. This band I think they're from Jersey called Paralysis. I fucking love them, and another band from friends of mine in Pennsylvania called Cruel Bomb. They're fucking awesome as well. They play this thrash hardcore style, fast-paced, metal. So, I mean, if you guys want to go out and look for their music, it's also cool. But if you guys are interested in having 4 Costa Ricans in your own turf, playing some, in-your-face thrash metal, we would love to go. So, yeah, that's it, man.
I appreciate you letting us know about those bands. I was not familiar with those bands. So, thank you again for this interview. It's been great. And I want you to know, with every new release you have out there, I want you to come back on Metal Meltdown to promote your future albums. I appreciate that. Man. I appreciate that. So I wish you the best of success with Common Sense, and know that you have my support. So when you have new videos and you have any shows that may be coming up, feel free to either tag me or send me a message. I'll be more than happy to spread the word, because that's what we do in the underground. We all spread the word and help each other out, because this is not above ground. We can't do it alone. So I want you to be able to count on my support. And I want to wish you and everyone in the band and all your families, may you stay healthy out there, and may you have continued success. May this be a big year for you, because I think you deserve it.
Oh man, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the interview, man. I wanted to thank you for the time, of course, and for people listening to this interview. And yeah, man. I mean, I hope so too. I mean, I hope that 2022, kind of turns around for everybody, not only for us especially, but for everybody, and it makes it very positive for everybody listening here, man, and everybody around the world, to be honest.
I think it's safe to say that Chemicide has arrived. So let's go crank up some more music off of Common Sense and crank it up fucking loud.
Yeah, man. Let's fucking do it.